Okay, so here we go. Okay, so with these are pretty important actually. At the start, you start with this so you can actually have an additional recruitment slot. Not probably that much important at the beginning, but
If
doesn't
our
matter.
daimyo is to become shogun, military ruler of all Japan, we must defeat the current shogunate, the Ashikaga clan,
We must.
capturing and holding the capital of Kyoto for 4 seasons.
Okay.
At this point,
Now,
the emperor will declare
just a
our
little bit in the
clan
beginning,
leader
it's-
shogun.
in the beginning,
We can make a bid for the
I would
shogunate
set
at any time,
tax to high.
although the current incumbent may
For the first turn.
preemptively attack us if we become too powerful.
And
War
diplomatically,
with the shogun
we don't
for
have a lot to
either
do at the
reason
moment.
may result in other clans declaring war on our own in support of the status quo.
now, if we have a look at these are pretty important. Not so much at the moment, but later on. With your generals and stuff like that, you can actually put them into like a commission. Right, it's a bit like government in Napoleon and stuff like that. So don't forget these. These are actually pretty good. These are actually pretty important. Okay. And there's our record. Blah blah. Okay, and to start off with, we'll do Way of the Chi or Bushido. The way I go about this is pretty much I'll do these two first. The second row is pretty important. Probably Zen is the last one on that line to worry about. Then pretty much it's concentrate on like your equal fields, tax reform, and this one here. I don't know how you pronounce it, but these three here are really important. Some of these aren't so important, particularly in the beginning of the game. Neither of these. Then once you've developed sort of this along here, then you'd move into like, you're doing your Way of the Spear, sea, bow, sword, those four, get them done. Form is probably next to go. Sword expertise, because you're playing Shimazu, is helpful. Then horse mastery. Yeah, probably not a priority once you get to this stage. I'd concentrate on things like your accuracy is important. That's not so important, and because I don't tend to use matchlocks and stuff, that's one I don't tend to do. Probably move over and do heaven and earth. Expertise for spears is important. 5 elements, yep, that's pretty important. But once you get to that stage anyway, the game's pretty much over. So just take your pick then. Actually, once you do a few of these over here, I'd then swap back and probably do tea ceremony down here, and calligraphy, because that actually helps with your diplomatic relations, which is sort of important sort of mid-game. But that's about it for I won't focus too much on this, but generally, like I said, do most of these here. Get a lot of your swords and your bow out of the way, and your horsey stuff, and then probably look at your diplomatic sort of relationship ones. Ninja ones, look, ninjas are really important, but you can actually live without some of these sort of things. And towards the end, things like, of course, things like sumo tournament, right at the end is probably important, because that actually gives you happiness, a little clan-wide happiness, and a bit of a boost for tax and stuff when you start running out of money. I actually didn't worry about that. These guys are really good, but I tend to use them for a different purpose, which is just to boost your economy. I don't actually get them to go and do a lot of other things. They can just sit in the towns and boost the money, which is good. Monks and ninjas are the only ones I run out with my armies. Okay. Don't forget, these ones up here are actually pretty important to keep a look at. You can have a bit of a browse through there. They're actually pretty good. Okay, so we'll move on to the next turn. Okay, so for turn 2, really the only thing you have to do is remember to turn the tax back down. What this does is just alternate turns at the beginning. Gives you a bit of an income hit, and then you peg it back so you don't have a rebellion. So in the beginning of the game, it's really good to probably try and boost your funds a little bit by doing that. But you definitely what you do rob yourself of is growth by doing that. So just initially, to get yourself going, I would tend to just do this a bit, and then when you get settled, just set your tax back down to like low. Probably never need to worry about minimal. Low's always good. You can stick it on low for quite a while, and that gives you a good bonus for your growth. And then when you get towards the end game, just keep it up to normal, and that sort of keeps it at a steady level. Not a lot of growth, but you actually getting a little bit extra money. Okay, but that's pretty much it for the all you have to worry about for turn 2. So we'll move on to the next one. Okay, and the other thing I just want to point out right from the start is that I'll probably tend to only record probably the beginning of every turn, and for each turn after that I'll actually go back and do a summary of what I actually did the previous turn. That sort of makes it a little bit easier, I think, for me anyway. Certainly this wasn't the first attempt I've had at recording a campaign on Legendary. The first few times I tried to actually do it, I was getting interruptions every time. So as I was talking through actually each and every thing I did while I was actually doing it, which was making it really complicated. Then I tried to record every sort of turn with mute on, and then go back and do a voiceover for it, but I ended up with about pretty close to a terabit of fraps, which I looked at and I thought, fuck, I'm not actually going to go back and do voiceover for all that. That's just fucking ridiculous. And so I thought I'll do it this way, and I hope it sort of works. So if you don't understand something, or you want to know a question or something, maybe just ask it after, because what I want to basically do anyway is sort of show you the pretty good strategies of how to actually complete this on Legendary, and just little things as you go to be mindful of. So, and I think that's sort of more important. That's why I chose these guys as well, because they are a lot easier to use on Legendary. It's pretty much the strategy is pretty straightforward with these guys, so it's not too difficult to follow, I hope. Okay, but if you've got any questions, just let me know. Okay, so basically I haven't done a great deal, just sort of building up, adding a few extra units to my army before I take here. Okay, so we'll move on. Okay, so next turn, obviously I've just added another unit, and if you look, put the tax back up high. Next turn I'll drop it back down again, just to keep that economy pumping along. Okay, so during the next turn, I've been attacked, so I'm actually outnumbered here, and the best way to go about this is probably to escape, run away. Okay. So he'll then siege me, so that makes it a lot easier. Okay, yep. So instead of fighting him on the open ground, he's happy to come in and siege. So that makes it a hell of a lot easier to win and not lose too many casualties. Okay, so sieging. I tend to not have my archers on the wall. Preference is to have my spear guys. Okay. The gen in the middle. Okay. Righto, so AI. Larger force this side. Nothing out this way. So we'll pull these guys from there over to here. Okay, so it's very difficult for them to scale the walls. Then we can move our archers up and target their archers. Notice how these guys are already wavering as they're climbing up. Always seems to do random shit, but we'll keep them on the wall. the middle one. Target the middle one now because these are depleted a little. So we'll use what we've got. So once that's depleted, probably a little bit more, we'll target the front one.
Our general is in grave danger, my lord!
Let's target in the general. We'll just continue to target the archers because they're the ones we want to eliminate now as soon as possible.
One of our units has used all its ammunition, my lord.
Always seem to run out of ammunition when you don't really want to. So the general will try and scale the wall as well, but that actually won't help too much. He's run out of ammunition.
One of our units has used all its ammunition, my lord.
Go and run down this general if we can. If we can make it in time. I don't think we will. Okay, so that's pretty much
My lord,
the initial
a
type
glorious
sieges.
victory will soon be yours.
Always handy to cut down the numbers of your opponent to start with. Didn't point Mansplain Shogun too.